The Communist Party of China will celebrate its 95th anniversary on July 1st. Marking this special occasion, CCTV News will bring you a series of special reports about the CPC. In today's episode, we take a look at the management structure of the organization with over 80 million members. The CPC has brought about dramatic changes to the most populous country in the world, China. It has lifted hundreds of millions of people out of poverty and ushered the nation into a stage of global powers. But how does the CPC select, train, assess, and promote its members? And how does the party fight corruption and abuses of power? Let's take a closer look now at the inner sanctum of the CPC.
It's not that well known in the West, but the CPC's organization department is very important in China. It's responsible for selecting, monitoring, assessing, and promoting party and government officials. With many years of practice in exploration, the party has developed a cadre selection mechanism, which is centered on a democratic and appointment-based process. Dai Xiaoshu is the former deputy director of the department's first bureau of cadre. He told us there are 4 parts in total to the selection mechanism.
The first is a democratic selection system that mirrors international practice. We follow relevant rules and charters to elect a leader through democratic selection. The second is selection by appointment. We combine top-down appointments with bottom-up recommendations and evaluations. We rely mainly on this option to recruit party and government officials. The third is selection by examination. The selection process has become more diverse in recent years with more open selections and competition for posts. The last is selection by recruitment, which is designed for positions that require technical expertise or other special qualities.
The CPC Central Committee Party School is in Beijing and is the higher education institution which specifically trains party officials. Xie Chuntao is a professor at the school. He told us that even after being selected, party cadres still have to follow strict training. Every cadre has to study in the party school for at least 3 months every 5 years. If not, they may lose the opportunity to be promoted. The training covers various aspects.
Our party schools are set up everywhere, from party committees at the central and county levels to even inside some big enterprises and universities. The training covers the party's theories, policy measures, as well as knowledge of the economy, law, science, and technology, and other topics that are related to international communication.
China has launched a nationwide anti-corruption campaign in recent years, and a number of high-ranking party and government officials have been removed and jailed. Dai Xiaoshu told us that the supervision of party cadres comes from 2 places. The first is from the party's discipline inspection and supervision departments, and the second is from HR departments. Meanwhile, 8-point regulations, which were stipulated by President Xi Jinping, have added another level of discipline among party members. They instruct them to reject extravagance and reduce bureaucratic visits, meetings, and so-called empty talk.
What the 8-point regulations forbid are things that were overlooked in the past, such as treats and gifts and extravagant banquets. Some may not seem very costly or may come in quantities not large enough to break the rules. But it is those very things that can be breeding grounds for criminal activity. We start from these seemingly ordinary and small reforms to foster a clean and just environment in the party and to promote a sound atmosphere nationwide.
And for party officials, Dai added that virtue has always been regarded as the most important trait. Jiang Shaoyi, CCTV.
China designed its unique political system in 1949 and has never ceased optimizing it since. Now, to explain the principles of China's democratic centralism today, I'm joined in the studio by my colleague Yang Di from CCTV News Digital Department. Yang Di, tell us how this concept works.
Good morning, Clint. Well, since we're in the studio instead of the class, surely the way to talk about the political system is more in order than a lecture. Chinese dictator goes, capable fellow needs hands like a strong fence needs stakes. The Communist Party of China is in the government, but it never governs alone. China has 8 democratic parties helping the government to make important policies and supervising the implementation. The members participate in policy making either in the form of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, that's China's top political advisory body, or more directly by assuming official posts. Here is some more info about their roles in Chinese politics.
You might think that the CPC is the only political party in China. But is that true? Actually, apart from the ruling Communist Party of China, there are 8 other democratic parties. The 8 parties are the China Revolutionary Committee of the Kuomintang, the China Democratic League, the China Democratic National Construction Association, the China Association for the Promotion of Democracy, the Chinese Peasants and Workers Democratic Party, the China Zhigongdang, the Zhousan Society, and the Taiwan Democratic Self-Government League. Most of these parties can trace their origins back to the anti-Japanese War and the Chinese Civil War that concluded in 1949. The oldest party is the Zhigongdang, which was founded in 1925 in San Francisco by overseas Chinese. According to statistics released in 2011, there are some 840,000 members across all 8 parties. The Democratic parties are neither parties out of office nor opposition parties. While they support the political leadership of the CPC, they do enjoy the freedom to fully participate in the political life of the nation. In 21st century China, you can see the members of these parties acting as leaders of government organs. A prominent feature of high-ranking Chinese officials from all of the democratic parties is that they are all very highly educated, with most of them considered leaders and experts in their respective fields. For example, in March 2016, Cao Wen-sheng from the China Democratic League was appointed Vice Minister of Land and Resources. He has a doctorate degree in agriculture. In the same month, Huang Renqiu from the Zhousan Society was appointed Vice Minister of the Ministry of Environmental Protection. He has a PhD in engineering. Both of them previously worked as university professors. Within the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, or the CPPCC, all of the democratic parties are allowed to air their opinions on state and regional affairs and issues, contributing to the course of multi-party cooperation. The basic principle of the cooperation between the CPC and other parties is long-term coexistence, mutual supervision, sincere treatment to each other, and the sharing of weal and woe.
The CPC has established the socialism with Chinese characteristics here in China, and for many people they've tried to understand this by labeling it with some existing political concepts, but that doesn't always result in the accurate perception. So I'm going to go back to you now, Yang Di. Can you help us understand how this all works, how to round this out for us?
Well, I think you're right, because the problem with labeling is that the label is always fixed, well as a theory. Theory can evolve. When in the early 20th century, the Communist Party of China helped lift hundreds of millions of Chinese people out of the abyss of war and oppression onto a path of independence with a socialist theory. But entering the 1970s, some party members found that a rigid interpretation of Marx's words might impede China's future development, while others were afraid of a theoretical innovation. Just when the country was caught up in an ideological wrangle, Deng Xiaoping, one of the most important CPC leaders, blazed China's future path with a brilliant conception.
Since China began its reform and opening up policy in 1978, the Communist Party of China has been continuing to adapt the basic principles of socialism to the conditions of China. By summarizing the successes and failures of building socialism in China and other socialist countries, and also by analyzing the problems faced by developed countries during their development, the CPC has successfully opened up a unique path for socialism with Chinese characteristics. The phrase socialism with Chinese characteristics was first coined by Deng Xiaoping, the architect of Chinese economic reform, at the 12th National People's Congress in 1982. Deng overthrew the historical view that a market economy is synonymous with capitalism, and that socialism can only be achieved through a planned economy. A planned economy is not the condition of socialism, because there is planning under capitalism. The market economy happens under socialism too. Planning and market forces are both ways of controlling economic activity, Deng explained. To be more specific, socialism is the common rule of the path taken by the CPC, while Chinese characteristics are what the basic principles of socialism really embody in China. Economically, China sticks to a multi-ownership-oriented basic market economy system, with public ownership predominating. Politically, China upholds the system of the People's Congress, a system of multi-party cooperation and political consultation, and a system of regional ethnic autonomy. Culturally, China keeps its socialist value system at its core, while simultaneously respecting differences and expanding common ground. Guided by the theory of socialism with Chinese characteristics, China has developed into the world's second largest economy, and has seen people's livelihoods greatly improve over the past few decades. Currently, China regards itself as being in the primary stage of socialism, the principle of socialism with Chinese characteristics so far proving to be a successful route towards China becoming a well-off, democratic, civilized, and harmonious modern nation.
Well, I hope you enjoy the animation. Tomorrow is the 95th anniversary of the founding of the CPC, and we will have more interesting materials for you. If you're interested in the videos that were broadcasted today, you can find them online. Just log on your favorite social network and hashtag CCTV News. Back to you, Clint.
Thank you, Young D. A lot of information there. When the 13th Chinese Communists met for the first time in 1927 to establish their party, the city of Shanghai was half a foreign colony, half a burgeoning capitalist city. The average Chinese resident struggled through a hard life on the streets. Almost a century later, Shanghai has become one of the most cosmopolitan cities in the world and harbors even bigger ambitions. Our own Lin Nan was at the iconic waterfront.
This is the Bund, the landmark waterfront in Shanghai for centuries. It began as a British settlement after the Opium Wars in the 1840s. Other foreign nations soon followed suit, creating what is called the international settlements. At the start of the 20th century, the Bund developed into a major financial hub of East Asia, housing some of the biggest global banks and trading houses. This area became home to the British and Russian consulates. Colonial powers not only changed China's political landscape, but also its economy. This concession was actually countries within a country. Very few Chinese people were allowed inside. Western capitals created massive wealth on these lands, pillaging fortune from China rather than bringing it prosperity. After the CPC established the People's Republic of China in 1949, many financial institutions left gradually, but most of them returned following China's reform and opening up policies in 1978. Shanghai reopened its doors to other countries, but this time China was making rules on market economy and financial orders. On the other side of the Huangpu River, it's a whole new world. In just 2 decades, a Chinese Manhattan has emerged. It's a poodle new era. China has become the world's second largest economy, and its businesses are integrated with the global economy like never before. Some of the world's most powerful corporations have set up their headquarters in Shanghai, including the BRICS Development Bank. Chinese officials created the Shanghai Free Trade Zone 3 years ago to improve the country's trading and foreign investment environment. Disney has just spent $5.5 billion building its new Shanghai Disney Resort, by far the largest foreign investment in the city. The Bund is a witness of China's turbulent history. It's a mirror reflecting how the CPC drove away colonist invaders and remade China's economy and society, and it will continue to watch over the future of the country and the party. Lin Nan, CCTV, Shanghai.
And for more on this, we're joined in the studio by Mr. Wang Shuyuan, the political analyst and former deputy president of the International Business Daily. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Wang. The Communist Party of China has 85 million members. What do you see are the parts that make it appealing and of value to the Chinese people?
Actually, I have another figure, 88 million for the total membership. And anyway, the total membership is about the population of Germany. The large number shows the popularity of the party in China. I think, first of all, it's a party with great faith. The realization of an ideal society in China, and that is a society, a prosperous society with fairness and equality for all the people. So the Chinese people, especially young people who wish to dedicate themselves to this cause, would join the party. That's the first aspect of its appeal. And second, it represents an honor to be a member of the Chinese Communist Party, because generally speaking, we can say most members of the Chinese Communist Party are advanced elements in various fields, including the political field, economic field, at various levels. So people want to join the Communist Party to become an advanced member of China. And of course, we cannot deny some people join the party with motives not that pure, because the Chinese Communist Party has been the ruling party in China for more than half a century. And some people want to join the party to gain an advantageous position in their future career. But it is the policy of the party that any people who wish to join it must rectify their motive. So in the course of their application, these people will receive education. Anyway, that's another factor for so many people applying for the party.
Mr. Wang Chuyun, thank you for your assessment.